Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. If you like a determiner, Family Pet Ancestry. If you like that old joke. Yes, because it just goes to JackieCation.com. Let's do the credits. Mike Rickberg composed and sang that song you just heard. He sang it with his wife, Sarah Cohen. He will sing his version of the Mexican Hat Dance at the end of the program. Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio, and Vilmos fixes the website, JackieCation.com. On the websites, there are many ways to support the show. You can get merch, t-shirts, CDs, a DVD, and hoodies. I have some hoodies in stock. The t-shirts are all union made here in the United States. There's Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirts, there's logo t-shirts, and there's 2 stand-up t-shirts, Spooky Reading Girl, and the Meat Shield t-shirt. The Meat Shield t-shirt is a charity t-shirt. All the benefits of that go to Black Lives Matter, the ACLU, and Southern Law Poverty Center. So if you order that shirt, know that I don't make any money on it. That just goes to a charity. And the new album, I Am Not the Hero of This Story, is available like all the other albums and the CD, hard copies on the merch page on JackieCation.com. You can also get everything digitally, and you can get my DVD streaming at ComedyFilmNerds.com. The Dork Forest is under the umbrella of AllThingsComedy.com, which is a podcast network with Al Madrigal and Bill Burr, and they have a lot of different podcasts over at AllThingsComedy.com if you want to listen to those. You can review the show on iTunes, and that supposedly does some good works. If you just want to donate to the show, there's a PayPal button. My Venmo is available. You can email me to ask me anything you'd like, Jackie@JackieCation.com. The PayPal has a new feature where you can donate monthly, because someone just did. It's amazing. I recommend $10 a month. That's what I recommend. But that's because I'm me, and I would receive that $10. I use it wisely on audio cables for live shows, and I occasionally pay a bill with it. So if you would like to support the show, just hit the PayPal button. If you don't have any money and you don't want any merch, you can do a passive way of helping out the show by using the Amazon banner. The Amazon banner and the Amazon link are on DorkForest.com and JackieCation.com. They just take you to the Amazon page. You order like normal, doesn't cost you extra, and good things. Good times are had. Any other than that, you also on JackieCation.com, you can check out where I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy. It's February, so I'm doing Minnesota, Acme, my home club. I'm Valentine's Day, I'm in San Francisco at Cobb's. And then I'm going on a JoCo cruise, nerd cruise, dork cruise, geek cruise with Jonathan Colton and his friends to Mexico. JoCo cruise. That'll be super fun. I'm sure I'm missing out on something, probably the premium episodes on Bandcamp and some other information, but let's get into the show. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in my living room, you guys, and I'm with Virginia Jones.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Virginia Jones is a great stand-up comic, and you should find her. And here's this thing about finding her. It's her... I swear to God, it's like a baby. It's like you had a niece who couldn't pronounce your name, and you said... this should be your Twitter handle. And except for that, maybe you were your own baby because you've had the website since 96. Mm-hmm. And you are a much younger woman than myself.
At least half an hour younger.
Exactly. Bedinia Dones.
Bedinia Dones.
B as in boy. A-D as in David. I-N-I-A. D as in David. O-N as in Nancy. E-S. Bedinia Dones. Virginia Jones.
You can just Google me.
You could just Google Virginia Jones, and there will be a link in the notes. So good news. Bedinia.com and stand-up comedy. She does it. She talks out of her mouth with the funny. Huzzah. You are a Labyrinth dork, which is a movie that Andy loves, and he's made me watch once.
Yeah, there's a lot of dorkdom in there.
Where did you see it first? What happened? What brought it into your life?
My first exposure to anything Labyrinth related was being a child who read Star Hits magazine.
Star Hits?
Star Hits magazine. It was a British music magazine. A lot of Cure, a lot of Susie, a lot of weird stuff in the 80s. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Who got you that subscription? What happened there? Was it at the library?
How did I find Star Hits magazine? That goes deep. And I picked it up somewhere just from another goth. And they had promo photos of David Bowie in the film.
And it's pronounced Bowie, is it?
Well,
I have always said Bowie.
It's Bowie. It's Bowie.
Fair enough.
It had photos of him from the
It's
Labyrinth
his name.
film.
I'll pronounce it however. He is, of
Bowie.
course-
Bowie knife.
Okay.
That's what he's named for. Is Bowie. You got it. Ricky Gervais says Bowie, and then I thought that's funny. And then I just
You're
started,
not wrong. You're
and
not
I just
wrong.
started doing it.
Okay.
I probably owe him money, but I'm not going to pay anything.
No, he's fine. He's not living check to check.
He's okay.
He's good.
So they had promo shots from Labyrinth, and my first impulse was, what? David's done a lot of looks, and now it's sexed up sex mother, like the hair and like the weird eye makeup. And I'm like, I really didn't know what to think of it. I don't think I saw Labyrinth until I was in college, and I fell in with
The wrong crowd?
the wrong crowd.
Interesting.
Of like dark nerds, and we watched it constantly. Constantly. Just dark
Oh,
dorks.
really?
Yeah, we watched it. So me and
Did you have it on VHS?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me and my best friend Melissa Thornton,
Yeah.
we watched it so much that there is a dog in the film, Sir Didymus, aka Merlin. No, Sir Didymus is the
Okay.
possibly the fox. So there's a dog, and they have, because it's a Henson thing, sometimes it's a sheepdog, and sometimes it's a real natural English sheepdog, and sometimes it's a puppet dog. And my roommate and I, my best friend Melissa Thornton, would yell, "Real dog, puppet dog," like when
Real dog, puppet dog.
which
That is
one had
moments
entered
of- Yeah.
entered the scene. Like, that's the real dog, that's the puppet dog. Yeah. It's real messed up.
Oh my God, this is some deep dorkdom here.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is good times. This is
And-
you and Melissa Thornton
Me and Melissa Thornton, and then
watching that movie.
watch it over and over and over again. And we watched that one, and then this will come up in the another topic, but we watched Rocky Horror Picture Show a lot. So
Oh, see, now that is a classic
college
college, dorky sort of, we're going to show this at midnight kind of thing. I remember guys in high school that ended up, they were gay.
right,
But
and
it
they didn't
turned
know
out,
it.
well, no, everyone in my high school knew that they were gay. And I was the editor of the school newspaper, and one guy came out in an anonymous letter, and we're talking 1980, 81, and he got beat up a lot. And I was like, and he had done it anonymously, and I did not reveal his name to anyone, but someone did at the fucking staff. And I was like, not cool. He gets to be gay. I don't even know what it means, because I was not gay or touching myself. So I didn't know what anything was. All I knew is I had the biggest crush on the gayest guy in the world, who was
sure.
super sweet. And he was like, oh, it's never going to work. But I love, and he didn't
But I
tell me
love you,
why.
But I love you so much. Why
did.
wouldn't it work? Just
He said,
try.
we're going to Rocky Horror on Saturday if you want to. And I was like, I'm not allowed out after 9. Anyway.
But yeah, no, similar experience. Like, I'm from Texas, and so for a lot of like hayseed kids, this is the first, and now it's
sophisticated.
It's sophisticated. Like, there's another world out there. There's stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we would also go all the time on acid. So I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show hundreds of times on acid. Also.
Because even though it's a small town, plenty of drugs. But super conservative.
Right.
But conservative people, a lot of weirdo drugs. And you're like, what's happening?
And then in Oklahoma, when the meth thing started happening, I'm like, why do you want to stay awake in Oklahoma? Just go. Sleep is great. There's nothing to do.
Right. Downers, you guys. Lewds.
Dude, find yourself some lewds. But yes. So we just watched it a ton of times.
So what year do you remember what year? We have it. I meant to pull it out of the box, but.
I believe it's 1986.
Okay. So
I
80s.
might be wrong.
So
It's 80s.
mid-80s.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And the same
Interesting.
year as Dark Crystal. So Henson really
Oh.
went into dark puppet movies that year.
Because I don't remember the puppets. Literally, I saw it 3 years ago, and when I told him you were Andy that you were doing this, and it was about Labyrinth, and I had only seen it that one time with him, he was like, "Wait, let's watch it now." And so, what is it? What, David Bowie? Mm-hmm. It didn't have a plot, did it?
Well,
I remember it was weird.
it's a very standard fantasy plot.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly, at the beginning of the movie, she invents cosplay. No one gives her credit.
No one gives her credit.
She does it right there.
Right there, it happened.
She's babysitting this kid.
Jennifer Connelly invents cosplay.
She's babysitting her little brother. A sexed up stepmother, David Bowie, shows up, kidnaps the baby. He sets her on a quest. It's Wizard of Oz. It's Wizard of Oz.
Wait, I got lost in the genders.
Yeah.
Oh, that's buzzing. Don't worry about it. I forgot to unplug my own phone. I'm turning it off. So if in the middle of this show, I don't even know who that is.
Oh, he's a stand-up. He's a great fella.
Oh, excellent.
He's a real weirdo.
Okay. So
here we are.
I'll pull that
turned
out.
off the phone. Thank you so much. Okay. So the plot is Wizard of Oz.
The plot is Okay, so Jennifer, it's with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly.
Yes.
Starting there.
David Bowie stars as this sexed up sex mother who's really a goblin king named Jareth.
There we go.
Yes.
So he's a sexed up sex mother.
That's just the look.
That's the look. I love the alliteration. And then Jennifer Connelly, or Connelly? Who knows? Yeah. But whatever. She plays the babysitter. What's happening?
She's the big sister. She is babysitting her
baby,
her much younger brother.
Okay.
So the parents go out. You're in charge. He shows up. He's got an owl. Very intense.
Takes the baby.
And then he says, "You've got 12 hours to solve my labyrinth." So the whole movie is she's going through this maze.
Oh, this trippy labyrinth.
Trippy labyrinth. And meeting puppets and having adventures and learning things and being
Alice
betrayed.
in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, all kind of like that.
Okay.
And so
being betrayed.
And then so
does she have a buddy? Does she have a small?
She has a small buddy who betrays her. She has a
spoiler alert, 86.
I'm sorry. Hoggle betrays her, but then he regrets it. And then she has a great big Ludo, and then she's got a little fox who rides a dog. A lot of cool puppets hanging out. Puppets. Just where else can we put a puppet in here? And so it was a flop at the box office. Nobody saw it when it actually came out.
Right.
Then we watched it a lot in college, and then it became kind of a thing on early internets. A lot of websites in the Netscape era showed up focusing on David Bowie's area.
Oh,
in the film,
his genitals.
Yes,
where he's keeping his stuff.
Where he keeps the goods.
The magic is happening in his pants, right there.
And because there's a lot of shots, he's usually the only full-size human person, and then a bunch of little puppets all around him, and he's wearing a pair of light, what they used to call buck trousers.
Buck trousers.
In like hunting times in like the 1800s, he's wearing a light trouser, and then he's wearing a cutaway coat, which is just an arrow to the area.
Oh, right.
And the thing is that's not it's not a coincidence, and it's not a mistake. It's from historical paintings,
and it's not subtle.
Right. So he's wearing these tight trousers and high boots, and then this coat, and then
that has an arrow that points all towards.
Hey, look! Hey, ladies! Yes. So there were like hundreds. There were all these web chains, and like everybody had like a GeoCities website about David Bowie's area, and there were all these. I mean,
GeoCities.
I know. I'm taking you back on a trip, and but yeah, I've watched it so many times, and like there's this different. I don't know. There's different little entries into different little nerddoms. There's a lot of juggling in it.
Oh, there's juggling.
So I want to tell you guys this. David Bowie has this glass ball. So you've seen. If you go to like a country fair or like a Ren fair, or in Portland, if you go to the yard sales.
That's right. You're Portland comic,
I'm
right?
a Portlander, yeah. And you'll see
Virginia
a guy,
Jones, right?
You'll see a nerd juggling a glass ball in this way, and it's called contact juggling because it never stops making contact with your hand.
Oh, weird.
And David Bowie does this juggling in this movie. David Bowie's not doing it. Is this guy who invented it, Michael Motion?
What?
Is a contact juggler.
Michael Motion?
And it's Moschen, I think. But so all the times where David Bowie, and I wish Andy was here to talk to me about it because you don't remember, but all the times when David Bowie is juggling this glass ball, it's Michael Motion's hands. Where did Michael Motion start doing contact juggling? He was friends with street juggler Penn Jillette in London in the 80s.
What? Penn Jillette was is Penn Jillette the one that talks or doesn't talk?
He doesn't talk.
That's
no, he
smaller.
does talk. He talks.
He's the
constantly.
taller guy.
Teller is the one who doesn't talk.
Okay, so Penn
Yeah.
Jillette used to be a juggler.
Yes, he was a street juggler and magician.
Okay.
He was a busker in London, and he had picked up these like acrylic balls, and he was like showing. He's like, he and Teller were like, maybe we should do something with this, and they hadn't figured out anything to do with it. And then their friend Michael Motion came over, and they were like, he's like, oh, what are these? And they're like, we haven't figured out anything to do with it. This is a hard acrylic ball. It's too heavy. And then he took it away and he invented this thing, and then David Bowie does it in the film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Weird backstory.
Yeah.
About the invention of a specific kind of juggling. You know, I had a juggling dork on the Dork Forest one time, and he never mentioned motion juggling, but contact juggling. Right.
It's a very specific thing.
It's super specific. I now will have to Google it, because is it juggling if it never leaves your hand?
Right. You know,
Isn't it just holding and moving around?
It's holding in a specific way.
Yeah.
It is moving. It's moving all around. And now there's a toy that like does it. It has a little gyro in there, and it does it for fake. But it was big at Christmas. But who cares? Who cares?
But it's not the real thing.
It's not.
You are not Michael Motion.
NOT the real thing.
But so his hands, do they not? Are they larger than David Bowie's hands? Is that why? I suspect there should be a thread comparing his hands to his package. See, major laugh.
You've got those two pieces of information. Your mind is just like a dryer. You're just matching up socks. Do these socks go together?
Right.
Let's switch it.
It's the old curtains and the hand.
Yeah, the old curtains and the hand matching. Yeah.
Right. I don't even have to.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that old chestnut. I said nut, you guys. So this one is going to be a little dirty. Is everybody got that?
When you start with David Bowie's area.
Oh yeah. When you start with David Bowie.
Yeah, when you start with David Bowie, it's going to get dirty.
It's so Labyrinth. So he is a goblin king.
Yes.
She has to get through the labyrinth, and then there's songs.
A lot of songs.
There's music.
There's music
because he's a musician.
Yeah, that's what he mainly did.
Right.
Although at some point somebody said, "Oh, you act, you do music, you do all these things. What do you really consider yourself?" And he says, "I'm a mime trapped in a man's body." He considered himself predominantly a mime, and then everything else was just an ancillary, like shooting out from mimeness.
Well, the thing is if you consider yourself to be a mime, it means that you are super introverted, and you're like, I am forced to be extroverted by society and humanity.
I think that's true.
And so he's like, well, if I'm going to be extroverted,
let's just make this thing.
Yeah, this is the art that comes out of me.
Yeah, so he did the music for the movie. Magic Dance is probably the best known song. It's pretty absurd. Although Goths like the ballroom song, as the world falls down, where he's dancing with Jennifer Connelly, and she's so glamorous that her hair has been teased out to an H.R. Giger type giant head, like it's this long.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. It's absolutely
sort of like Bride of Frankenstein?
Yes, but instead of up, out.
Out back.
Yeah, out back.
Party in the back.
It's such a party in the back.
Such a party that goes out for probably 6-7 inches?
Maybe even bigger. Many nerds have gotten married in these costumes.
Many nerds have gotten dressed in Labyrinth.
Dressed in Labyrinth. Here's
the thing about that coat, and I'm sorry, it's been a couple of days since I've gotten laid, so I'm clearly But
this comes out around Valentine's Day, so hopefully business will have been taken care of.
Yes, thank you, Andy. Come home from work. What's happening? No, too much info for anyone who is listening. Rangers, you can handle it. Yeah. You've been listening for 11 years, so the coat that you described, though, I think it was popular after the movie.
Yeah.
Because is it a zipper coat that has it's sort of up high here and then goes down as a point that points to a place? That
definitely did start happening.
I think Michael Jackson had something like that too, right?
Sure. And like any men's dress coat where it goes significantly past your butt.
It goes to it was thigh length?
And then in the front is shorter. Yeah.
Oh,
the whole sweeping that
sort of
thing.
like it was the vest and coat together.
But like definitely there's parts of the movie he probably wears a shorter coat, but like many of them are like riding jackets.
Okay.
Just that long thing. Yeah.
It sounds like you might be a fashion dork too. Like you've got some clothes action.
I am a fashion dork.
You know about clothings.
It's and that's a weird dorkdom but yeah, that's my. You have a good ear. I have a fashion degree. I worked in apparel for a long time.
I have a dork ear.
You have
I have
dork
an ear for dorkdoms.
Yeah.
Somebody just brought up birds in the in the green room at the Ice House a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "What do you like about birds? What's happening?" And young, one of the new young guys, right? I'm trying to get him on the show.
What do you? Are you? I'm scared of birds. How do you feel?
They're flappy.
Right.
I don't ever hold a bird or anything. Right. I don't want to hold any animals. Dogs. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with a dog. Cats, I'm allergic, sadly. I like them. They seem very pretty.
Like looking at them.
Yeah, from afar and not in the house. Because I can't breathe real good. But dogs, I will roll around with dogs. I will spend some quality time on a lawn with a dog. But playing catch and touching their ears. It's nice.
Oh, yeah. When you get a real silky ear.
Yeah, you get a silky ear. That's real nice. But birds and fish, like some people, like I think Moshe Kasher was telling me that it was either him or Pete Holmes was saying that you could go swimming with like stingrays. And you could hold on to their wings, and they would pull you. And I was like, that seems rude.
Because they're trying to get away from you, Moshe.
Right. It's you don't need to. Why don't you leave them alone? Why don't you go let them play with other stingrays, which is what they might want to do, and that might be racism. It's I don't think it is. It's not speciesism. It might be speciesism.
You're typecasting them stingrays.
Stingrays, I think, want to hang out with other stingrays.
Other stingrays. They don't hang out with people on purpose. Right.
Right. I think we're kind of bugging them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've weeded off. Let's weed back. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to know. So you've been goth.
Yeah.
In Texas.
Yeah.
From a childhood time. Okay. That's black.
Yeah.
That's wearing some black items. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's some black eyeliner.
Oh, sure.
What is goth?
It's a real good question.
It can be anything you want, probably.
Well, okay, so goth, it's an offshoot of punk rock in Britain. The British invented it. The Germans perfected it.
Oh.
But like bands like The Damned.
Okay.
They were a punk band, but the lead singer dressed like a vampire.
Okay.
Bands like Bauhaus. The lead singer, Peter Murphy, was essentially a male stripper, but he dressed like a vampire. Lead singer of The Damned and Bauhaus and the Bauhaus nearly got in a fight one time because because Dave Vaney and the one vampire said to Pete Murphy, the other vampire, "I'm doing this thing."
Oh.
They didn't realize that there was going to be a whole world.
Right.
So much.
Right. They didn't realize they were making stuff.
Right. There's more than 50 people who want this thing.
Right.
Everything's going to go fine. And so, yeah, Susie and the Banshees and the Cure and the Depeche Mode and all that stuff. And so,
goth, that's goth.
It's a music
but I always
based.
think of the Cure as real emotional. Full of feelings.
Right. Yeah, goth is full of feelings.
Goth full of feelings.
Just as long as it's sad feelings, yeah.
Oh, sad.
Sure.
Sad feelings.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, like every 15-year-old
there's that.
filled with these hormones, and you're like, nobody understands what the fuck I'm going through.
Right.
Nobody likes me, and I want to die a lot. And then you just don't grow out of that, and then you're a goth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And then what's that? And then and I'm still doing it for reasons unknown.
Well, don't kill yourself. A little small PSA here at minute 20. Try not to kill yourselves.
Try not to.
It'll get better.
It doesn't really, but then you start to find comedy in it.
It does get better. Screw you. And then it gets worse again.
Right.
How about that?
Again. And you go, no, this is okay. I remember when it was worse last time. It's all right.
And then it gets better again. And then it gets worse again. Mm-hmm. And we call that life. That's the way it goes. But if you want to wear black clothes and have a little sad sack moment in the midst of it all, I say own it.
But I think the interesting thing about goth now is that it has branched off into so many things. Because then there was the 2000s, and there was raver goth and perky goth and pony goth and happy goth and fetish goth and and now there's steampunk it's brown goth.
Oh, brown goth.
I mean, there's and then emo. It's an offshoot that goth disavows. And the most interesting.
What about those two guys, the Bauhaus guy and the Damned guy? Are they still around?
They're still doing good. Pete Murphy. Well, Dave Dave, I believe, lives in Fullerton. Well, he has a house in Fullerton with his wife.
Oh, good.
Patricia Morrison, who was also in a goth band called Sisters of Mercy. And Pete Murphy got busted. Big Pete had some meth in his car. He got pulled over. Had a bit of meth. And everybody got very upset. I'm like, how are you? He's 60. How is he supposed to fit into his pants?
Here's my thing about that's interesting as a diet tip. But here's the thing I'm curious about is what aging goth.
Yeah.
Goths who age. Everyone ages. As you get older, do you keep it up? Do you keep it up, or do you lose like maybe? You're not full black makeup right now.
No, it's daytime.
No. Daytime.
Yeah.
All right.
And
is it kind of a dress up thing?
It can be, yeah, it's kind of a dress up thing. But you definitely run into people, especially young people who do it like top to bottom all the time. I find them very fun and curious. Yeah, whether you grow up and like grow out of it is your own thing. But the interesting thing about right now is there are no young goths. Goths is in the time of being kind of a nostalgia thing. Like there was a big, like you could do a chart, like Edward Scissorhands and then 90s, huge amount of goths.
Oh, okay.
At Tim Burton's career in general. And then, but like there's nothing, like goth is kind of a throwback. So like if you do go to a goth night, you look around and everybody's kind of your age, you're like, and you realize like some things just kind of have their, like they have their ebbs and flows.
Right.
Like where are the young people? There are none.
Right. Maybe 5 years from now.
Maybe 5 years from now they'll get interested in it again.
And I like that there's offshoots, like because basic original goth were those two dudes who were like, we're going to dress like vampires, and the music, the Damned and the Bauhaus, is that punk?
The Damned was punk, and then Bauhaus. Looking at it in retrospect, it's just glam rock with a different skin on it.
Okay.
But at the time, we're like, yeah, this is goth music. Their big hit was about Bela Lugosi, the actor.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it's 9 minutes long, and that was their big hit.
Wow.
Not a lot of radio play. It's a long song.
No, that's hard.
But goths love David Bowie in most of his phases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing about David Bowie is that he was a different musician, almost album to album, right?
Yeah,
like he changed. I did an episode about, because Prince died the same
February
time, right?
And yeah, David Bowie died 2 years ago last week.
Okay.
And then Prince in February the same year.
Right. So it was a hell of a year.
It was a hell of a year.
For kind of genius musicians. Not even kind of. Other people would not say kind of. I don't know anything about music. Again, I know a little bit about all the musics. So here's how bad I am about David Bowie. Why would I tell this story?
I can't wait.
I used to get him mixed up with the guy Billy Idol. I used to get him mixed up with Billy Idol.
Okay.
I was very drunk in 1984. I'm not going to lie to you.
They're both British.
Yep.
At some point, they've both been blondes.
Yes, they were blondes. They both have dental issues, maybe?
Yeah.
Were there dental issues?
I don't know if
I have
Idol
dental
was known
issues,
for
so
that.
I'm willing to go from that place.
Yeah, Bowie definitely used to have some adorable wonky teeth that he had replaced.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna absolve
Billy
you
Idol
from this.
Right. Was Billy Idol sort of a pop version of goth?
You should abandon this immediately. So Billy Idol had some real punk cred. He had a band called Generation X.
Okay.
From the time.
Okay.
But then when he started getting hits, it was definitely as more of a like
as
a
just
sneering,
a guy,
like a punk, like
light
minstrel. Yes, like a minstrel of punk. Yeah,
yes.
A minstrel show. And that New Wave was considered to be like punk, like cleaned up and kind of sanitized.
Yep,
a little bit, and so I guess we would call him that.
Okay.
I'm going to draw you back in with nerd fact.
Please.
This is a theory. It is mine. I don't know if it's true. Maybe somebody in the dorkdom forest can corroborate. There's a scene in Labyrinth where it's exactly the same scenario as in Star Wars, where in Star Wars it's Han Solo and Princess Leia running down a hallway being chased by stormtroopers, and they jump into the garbage chute, right?
Yeah.
And Han Solo says, "You sure got his attention."
Yep.
And in this film, it's Jennifer Connelly and a puppet
Right.
running down the hallway being chased by the cleaners, which is a machine. It's a very steampunky machine that's being run by these little goblins, and it takes up the whole hallway, and it's going to chop them up, right?
Oh,
so
right,
they jump into a hole to escape.
Yeah.
And I believe producer George Lucas sampled Han Solo as, like, it's Hoggle saying it, but I think it's a clip from Star Wars. You sure got his attention, because it sounds exactly the same.
Oh, right. Oh, like, so who directed Labyrinth?
Director, I can't remember because I'm a bad person.
Right. Well, that
Jim Henson.
Oh, there you go. And you think that he got George Lucas?
George Lucas was a producer on the film.
Oh, and he was. And so
connected.
they sampled the Han Solo.
They might have sampled Han Solo.
I mean, I don't want to worry about whether or not I'm completely spacing who played Han Solo. Harrison Ford. There we go. So I don't think Harrison Ford's living check to check at this point.
No, he's okay.
He's okay. But do you think he got paid for that? that'd be the way to find out, because you would you follow the money. Follow the money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a Cation-like moment. Hello and welcome. My brother and family would be very proud of me. My father, yes, he would say, follow the money.
Follow the money. Who got paid? I just want to these are all trivia facts that are going to be amusing to 10 people, but I
those 10 people are important.
Yeah, and I want to share one of the other good trivia facts. We left the music idea, the magic dance. There's a lot of baby gurgles in it.
Baby gurgles, like, magic dance.
Those.
Wait, is it Badania Duns?
Badania Duns. You got it.
Done in baby gurgles. Yes, please. Okay.
So they wanted the baby for the movie, who was the art director's kid, Toby Frood.
Okay.
It was nepotism, the hiring of that baby. They were just like, we have a baby. He's going to...
we got a loose baby. Just grab the baby we got.
Grab and put him in there. And they renamed the character to be the baby's name because the baby was a bad baby actor.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't responding to the original name, Freddie. So it became Toby. So they wanted Toby to do baby gurgles for the movie.
Sure.
And for the song. And he was a non-gurgling type.
Right.
And so...
He was a very serious baby.
He was a stoic baby. So David Bowie wound up making the baby noises
himself
on that track, and they're good.
Oh, he's real good.
I mean, he's got a lot of talents.
Well,
baby gurgles is one.
This is one of them. Here's the thing about it. You can't force a baby to gurgle.
No.
You got when you meet a baby. Mm-hmm. How many babies have you met? You've met a lot of babies. Dozens of babies. Yeah. They all have a very unique personality that you can see in a baby what they're going to be like when they're 30. You're just like, I saw a picture of Baron Vaughn's baby, and I'm like, that is what that baby will look like when he is 26 and not psyched.
That's a cute baby.
That is going to be a judgmental look on that baby's face when he's 28 and he's like, I'm bored, Dad. I'm bored. And
I do like that about kids where, like, you'll catch their face at an angle and you're like, I see what you are as an adult. Or if it's an Armenian baby, you can see what they look like at 60 right now.
That is nice.
Yeah, they have, like, nice. Sometimes they have a very grown-up face, and then they grow up and they're a perfect.
I was an enormously Irish-looking baby.
Yeah.
My sister. You know what? I don't think are there any pictures of Darla as a baby? There's toddlers, but we're the youngest of 6, so there were a lot of pictures of the boys as
documentation,
babies.
right?
And then it got
done.
Right. And then I was born and they're like, oh, we should probably snap some pictures. There's a great
2 and then you've got high school graduation.
Like see that picture of all 5 of the kids right up there? My sister's probably 2 right there. I am, which means that my mother is pregnant with me.
Right.
She looks like she's about a year. So she's pregnant with me because my sister's a year and a half older than I am. They couldn't wait 6 months to take the fucking picture of all the kids. So my dad actually got that photography studio thing for free. And that's why there's a picture of all 5 kids. Right. I like to think that I'm in the car.
Yeah.
Just like, no, she's actually born.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a dress for her, so we're going to stick her in the car. And, so that is actually the youngest picture of my sister. And she looks Armenian.
Yeah.
And she looks like, I think she will be a very cherubic old lady. It's funny because this is a picture of my sister, looking happy. And then many of the pictures of her until she's about 18 are her looking worried and very, very, very serious. Yeah. And now, as she gets older, my sister's the only person I've ever met that is more of a child today. Like, she's having her childhood now. She wasn't allowed to be a child when we were children, and she's doing it right now. She's like, and she's raising people, and she's doing it with joy, and it's kind of awesome. Like, fun. Yeah, it's like, no, now, once she's in control, she can allow herself to be a kid. Yeah. But she had to be in control, and she didn't have any actual control when she was 7. So I'm sorry to laugh. Yeah, because it was a sad childhood.
No, but and then an interesting sidebar. I am from a family of 5.
Yeah,
I'm the oldest, not the youngest.
Oof.
But something that people from big families sometimes have in common is the desire to have no family.
I have always, I never met anybody I wanted to have kids with until it was essentially too late to have kids. And now I'm like, that's fine. It's, cause my brothers and my sister, there's enough children in the world
to go around. Yeah.
It's all working out.
Yeah.
And then I get to sleep in. But I love my big family, even though some of them are genuinely hard to spend more than 1 hour a year with.
But then I think it's better that we have more of them, because then the odds are better. Because like, what if my trouble brother was the only one, and then all I had was that trouble brother? I've got these 2 great sisters
that you could talk to anytime.
I can talk to anytime and do. And so then the 2
people don't know that about big families is that's the great thing about it.
Choose.
You can pick and choose. I'm the only one that talks to all of them.
That's a good position. My sister Laura is that right now in my family.
Hub.
Yeah, the hub.
Yeah. And people like to check in. Well, how? Like my stepmother, a lot of people didn't want to talk to her before she passed away. They're like, how's Nancy doing? And I was like, she has a phone.
Yeah.
She's great.
Talk to Nancy.
She's doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea when you might want to call her? Check in with her? No? You're good? Okay. He was like, oh, how's your other brother? And I was like, he's right there.
He's a person with a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but I let everybody know how things are going. So
that's a role. It's
a role.
Yeah. My sister's doing it.
Good for her.
My mother moved across the street from my sister to help raise the world's cutest nephew for me to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And my mother has stopped calling me because she loves me, but she gets all the information from the hub.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to call me.
Doesn't need to talk to you.
If I call her,
she's happy to talk to you, I'm sure.
She may eventually return my call, but it's not urgent, because she knows that if something important happened, Laura would have told her. It's fine.
It's fine. Which is a big family. That's a quality problem there. It means that
everyone's communicating. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. And here's another thing a lot of people don't know about big families is there's usually nothing to inherit.
Right.
And so you don't have that problem that someone who just has one sibling has. Because then you want to fight over every fucking thing. And your parents probably have money that it's going to matter. When my dad dies, I kind of want his paintings. Nobody else wants those paintings. And my grandmother died, and my brother and my sister, who are the most alike but don't talk very much, just because they're kind of alike but they're kind of opposed. It's just like, it's weird. But they both got a rug, like an Oriental rug, and the rest of us are like, well, I would have kind of wanted it, but I'm not going to fight over it. Who cares?
You don't want to cut it in half. Yeah, I've always felt that the lack of money in my family was just freedom. I'm like, man, I can treat everybody with the respect and love that I want to.
Yeah,
I don't have to fake any, because there's nothing. There's nothing
to fight over.
Nothing to fight over.
Cash wise,
I did have a weird collectory nerd moment of clarity when my father passed. Because he had been a big, talk about your dorkdoms. He had been a big Ren Fair dork.
Oh, wow.
And he went to Ren Fair every year.
He must have got in early.
Yeah.
Early adopter.
God. And he oh, Jesus Christ.
Did he take you to it?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, the buckskin boots and the corsetry and the bad improv and just everything.
I love it.
Boots up to here. Oh, and swords. God, the swords. He
loved the swords.
Love the swords. And when I was a little kid, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then I grew up and I'm like, this is not awesome.
My dad's a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But then you come back. And you're
back.
like, you celebrate that he liked it as much.
Yes. So every year they would have a different goblet to commemorate that year. It's like the Disney people and the pins and all that stuff.
Sure.
And so when he died, he like had these shelves with all these goblets from every year. And my sister's like, what is this shit? Why?
What are we going to do with this crap?
Yeah. She's like, I'm like, Laura, you don't collect stuff. You don't have stuff to be useful to other people.
Right.
He collected that shit because he was marking the years of his life. Like, this is all the things. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Most of what we have, like, and it was like a real, like.
Did you keep any of them?
I kept one.
That's it.
And that's all I needed.
Well, that's all you need because
yes,
you don't collect them.
No.
You just have the one that you thought was cool when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And you're like, and
Keep
it was
that.
his.
And remembers me of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But yeah, I mean, it was a real, like, it was a real tidying your life type moment. I'm like, oh, most of what we have is useless garbage.
Yeah.
By the way, that when we die, people will look at it and go, what is this?
Right.
I have multiple Labyrinth dolls.
Oh, do you?
I have a big one that talks.
How big? Life size?
No.
Okay.
Thank goodness, no. Life size, to my knowledge, not available. So not available in stores.
Jackie at JackieCation.com. if there's a Labyrinth doll.
Look, I've got the big Jareth that talks when you press on his chest. I've got the small Jareth, the portable, the travel size.
And do you?
I have.
You have traveled with him.
Just in case you need one. It's right there.
How tall is the one that talks? Are we talking like foot?
He's probably
18 inches?
He might not be 18 inches. He's probably 12, although in my mind I think he's somewhere in the middle. And
I think I'm taller than
the travel is solid 6.
Solid 6.
Solid 6.
Right. And then do you have
you got to glue the crystal ball in the hand because it won't stay.
He's got a crystal ball?
Sure, he's got the juggling ball.
Oh, the juggling ball. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what that is. Mm-hmm. It's and it's only one ball?
Sometimes there's multiple balls, but the dolls just have one each.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? What can you do?
What can you do?
Mm-hmm.
And so interesting. Do you have any other merch? Labyrinth merch? Do you own the movie still?
I do own the movie.
On Laserdisc? What are we looking at?
Oh, boy. No, I moved up to DVD.
Okay.
And then, it becomes something that people give you stuff.
Oh, right. My dad liked unicorns in the 70s, and he got unicorns for too long. And he had...
Yeah, but I mean, I have a lot of just David Bowie stuff in general, and like some of it is Labyrinth stuff also.
Very nice. Very nice. And is there a soundtrack?
There sure is a soundtrack.
Because he's a musician. We're going to always go back to that.
And then, there's the 2 hits, and then there's the fiery dance, which nobody knows. There's all manner of, like, every big scene in the film, there needed to be a song, and then there is that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Does it move the plot forward, or is it one of those kind of musicals where it's just we're stopping to sing a song?
I think you're stopping to sing a song. I've never considered it this way, but yeah, it's less like a musical where it's more like we're going to decorate the film with these songs. Made if there's anything that's the real core of it, it's puppets. They're just like, where's something where you can have a bunch of puppets dancing to a song? It's you got to see the thing for what it is.
And it's a Jim Henson movie, so. That guy liked puppets.
He did a lot. That was probably his dorkdom.
That was his dorkdom.
Rest in peace, Jim Henson.
Exactly. For sure. He was that guy. And so he's going to want to put a puppet where it could be. Was there dance? Was there also dance?
There was dancing. There's a ballroom dance in the big romantic scene.
Oh, yeah. Who's the romance between? Is it between the goblin?
It's the Goblin King and
the sister?
And the Jennifer Connelly. So here's the thing that people have started. This is a hashtag Me Too discussion now.
Well, I'm sorry to laugh.
Everything comes back. Everything comes back
to what a terrible choice in this movie.
So in the movie, she's being pursued by a Goblin King. There's a power disparity there.
There is a power disparity between Goblin King and older sister.
Yes.
And he is holding hostage.
And he's holding hostage
her baby.
Yes.
Her younger sibling.
But the thing is, that is creepy. But the thing is, the whole movie is... like in Wizard of Oz, it's a fantasy of hers.
Yeah.
And
is it?
And that's made clear at the end. You look around her room, she's back to normal. She's had the red shoe, because she's invented
cosplay.
She's invented cosplay. She returns to her house and she can look around and there's all the characters in the movie are little dolls in the room. And so she's having a fantasy about a mysterious older male figure who's obsessed with her. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's her thing.
That's her thing.
Yeah.
It's not really that a man with an owl has kidnapped a child. That's actually not
not what the movie is
That's
about.
the fantasy part of the fantasy.
Right.
And the fact is that hero worship is an important part of girls' development and like
Of all youth.
of all youth.
Youth.
Yeah.
The youth got to have someone to look up to.
Yeah. And sometimes they want to sleep with that person.
Right. Who sometimes you do.
Sometimes you do. And my last, this is just homemade trivia that I can't not tell you.
Yes.
There's a song that starts with, "You remind me of a man. What man? The man with the power. What power?" It's the Dance Magic Dance song. "Power of voodoo. You do. Who do you do? Do what? Remind me of the man." And I carried that around for a long time. And this is a big part of being a dork. You carry around a little snippet of something for a long time. And you go, where the fuck did that come from?
Right.
Where the fuck? What is that? What is that?
Was that said to me in my cradle? What happened?
What happened? And like if you listen to something like Firesign Theater radio plays, you can spend your whole life like collecting all the references that plug into that. But I finally,
interesting.
One night, late at night, there's a bad Cary Grant movie.
Yeah.
Called The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer.
Yeah.
Grown-up Shirley Temple is being raised by her aunt.
Allow me to say,
thank you.
Bad Cary Grant movie. I object.
Okay.
But no,
less popular.
It's not his finest work.
It's not his finest work. So it's Myrna Loy, Cary Grant, Shirley Temple.
Got it.
And there's an
Myrna Loy's
uncomfortable.
amazing in that movie.
She's great.
Yeah.
The romances between Cary Grant and Myrna Loy, there's a little bit of uncomfortableness between,
because the Bobby Soxer has a crush on Cary Grant.
Right,
Hardcore.
exactly. And he's like, "Oh no, I would like to date an adult lady," which is atypical.
Right.
So,
but a Cary Grant original, by the way. After you tell this story, I will tell you.
I can't wait.
A fun fact I know about Cary Grant.
Okay,
yes.
So in the movie, there's a scene where he's being funny with Shirley Temple to get on the good side of Myrna Loy.
Right.
And he pretends to be a beatnik.
Yes.
And he says, "You remind me of the man." And then she says, "What man?"
Oh, is that where it's from?
That's where it's from.
Which means that they stole it from vaudeville. But right, because almost all things are stolen from.
That's probably true.
From live comedy.
I'm going to circle this back, and then it's going to be back to your story about Cary Grant because I can't wait.
You are a delight, Virginia Jones. Go,
David Bowie.
Yes.
There was a costume that he had made for an appearance on Saturday Night Live where he had to be physically picked up and carried. And it was like this big vinyl thing. He was a human sculpture.
Oh.
And it was triangly on top and stripy on bottom. It was then borrowed by Klaus Nomi, the German singer who was the first kind of famous person to die of AIDS. Ooh. He had his vinyl costume based on this thing.
Right.
He and Joey Arias carried David Bowie to the front of the stage and then stepped back and did backup singing. That was their job.
Okay.
When I went to London to see the Victoria and Albert exhibit on David Bowie, it came up that costume, the color blocking and the shape of it was from British Music Hall.
Okay.
Which was their vaudeville.
Oh.
So, like the depth of like being a David Bowie fan is just the depth of reference. Yeah. And all the things he pulled from and all the things that he collected.
Right.
Cary Grant story, please.
Fascinating. And I love that you saved up just a girl from Texas, you guys. I'm going to London. I'm going to go to the David Bowie exhibit in London.
It's one of the best things I've ever done.
Well, exactly, which is proof positive that you got to do the thing you've always wanted to do, because they'll always, as my father likes to say, it doesn't matter what number it is. Like, let's say it costs you $1,200 to do it. My father will go, well, there's always going to be another $1,200. Don't sweat it. And he's not wrong. No. He is 80, has not planned for retirement, and he's doing fine. Anyway, so the Cary Grant story is that Cary Grant actually retired, and he got pulled out like twice to act in a couple of things because they started casting really young women as his love interests. And he was like, it's gross. Wow. Stop it. Wow. He's like, I don't want to. And I think that's what the Bobby Soxer movie was actually starting to be about. because all shitty B movies have the best ones have some sort of moral underpinning, right? Like even Blue Crush, whether it's a right-wing story or whether it's whatever the pitch is, there's always a B plot that tells you, like if, the obvious ones,
the heart of the thing,
right? The obvious ones I've mentioned a million times before on this show is Footloose. Censorship is bad. It's a movie about people who dance in a small town,
right?
But the real story is about how censorship is bad.
And then later, Kevin Bacon moves to Marfa and becomes very sexy.
Very sexy. And then Dirty Dancing. Just about summer camp and a love story. Or is it? Is it
Right.
about keep abortion legal?
Right.
It's about keep abortion legal. Blue Crush. Is it about surfing or is it about true happiness is through corporate sponsorship? That is the message of Blue Crush. I don't know if you ever get a chance to. Blue Crush is the live action right wing version of Lilo and Stitch in my mind. Anyway,
all good thoughts.
But I love Cary Grant for saying
That's amazing.
that.
That's amazing, and that's remarkable. And I will say, in this changing time, as many men find the sand of their reality shifting beneath their feet, it's interesting to look back and say, oh, there was someone who was a little bit woke and had a little bit of deeper awareness and consciousness, right?
Throughout history,
right?
There have been decent straight white dudes who were like, no, that seems wrong.
But it's hard to be an independent thinker, and I think that
it's very hard.
That many people just go along with the culture, and like
you're surrounded by a bunch of dirtbags or people who won't stand up.
Right. And they're like, oh, well, it's just always been this way. I'm on the road with a woman comic, and I'm not a rapist, but I'm just going to assume that I'm going to sleep with her because she's there.
She's there. I'm here.
My wife is far away.
Right. We are both of opposite sex, and she says she's straight. I'm straight. Let's do this. You're like, the number of times that guy said that to me on New Year's week, where he was like, we're just going to do this, right? And I'm like, we're not. No. We're not doing this.
Only one of us wants to, so no. Right.
Well, there's that.
But yeah, and I think that sometimes people get confused about, you hear people say things like, oh, well, I would have been, if I'd had slaves, I would have been a good slave owner. I would have been one of the good ones. And you wouldn't have.
Who were you hanging out with?
Well, it's like embarrassed white people. Yeah. And they're like, I wouldn't have been like that. I'm like, you sure would have, like the person in Roots or the person in 12 Years a Slave. You would have, because you would have been told every day of your life that these people are not your equals and it's okay to treat them this way. That's where we are with women right now. Everybody knows we're not their equal, except for Cary Grant. Thanks, Cary Grant.
Thank you, Cary Grant. And probably David Bowie. I think David Bowie would have stood up. Maybe not.
No, he was in general a good guy. He was not a perfect guy. He slept with almost everybody and everything. But yeah, I think he was a thoughtful person on some level in that way.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I think that's been one of the things.
That's clear. That's clear. Don't have to take me down, hold my hand on that one.
That has been established. Jackie does not know a lot about David Bowie or Billy Idol, it turns out.
It's okay.
I used to get Cary Grant and Rock Hudson mixed up as a child, too. I might have always had that face thing.
Right.
I might have always had that facism thing. Not fascism, by the way.
No, just facism.
Right.
That's happened to me a lot. And now when I introduce myself to someone and they say, I've already met you, I tell them all white men look alike to me.
Oh, because it's usually a white dude.
Yeah.
I think I did it with a black comic the other night, and you can't say that. That gets
it feels like
rude.
It feels like crud. It feels like crud. But there is part of the thing where, you know how like sometimes you'll call an animal a dead animal's name, and it's because you have a file folder with all those animals in it.
No, what happened? What happened to this conversation?
So sometimes, okay, well, this is why this is my argument to why absolutely no person of any ethnicity really looks like every other person of that ethnicity, but mistakes are made because you have a filing system in your noggin.
Yeah.
And they all go in that file folder.
Oh, right.
So this is why your mom sometimes calls you your sister's name, because she's got a file folder called My Kids. and then
she scrolls through.
She scrolls through.
Oh,
so although it doesn't feel good to do, it
doesn't feel good to be called Darla.
It doesn't feel good to be called Darla.
She's much more successful than I am.
Yeah.
So
it does happen.
It does happen, and I've made peace with it.
Yeah.
But I do say this is that I actually think that there are 5 basic types of every kind of person. So I will see a bearded white guy, and he will look like a lot of other bearded white guys. But then I'll see a different bearded white guy, and he'll look like the other half of the other kind of bearded white guy. Anyway, so, and that'll happen too with all the peoples. Or I don't know what people look like. It was, I met Andy McDowell the other night.
All right.
I told this story on Jackie and Laurie, which is my other podcast, Rangers. If you're not listening, you don't have to. Don't sweat it.
It's very good.
It's about stand-up. It was just bitching. So, but Andy McDowell was at the Improv, and she was hanging out with Anna Gerwich, who I know. And Anna Gerwich came up and said, "You had a good set." And then she introduced me to her friend, Andy McDowell. And she said, "This is my friend, Andy." And then Andy shook my hand and said, "You had a good set," or whatever she said.
You had a good set.
And she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, and I watch Groundhog Day every year. And I looked at her and I said, "Famous." And then she said, "Yes." Yeah. And she was very nice about the whole thing. Gracious. And then we parted ways.
Well,
but it's a classic.
I'm so glad she's as gracious as she seems.
She's super gracious.
How long do you think the actions from the film Groundhog's Day take? What do you think how many years do you think Bill Murray's
was in Groundhog Day?
Yes.
We're going to weed off into
short weed.
Short because we're almost at an hour.
I knew we would never get to the third thing.
No, we're never getting to any of it. We're just going to do Labyrinth, and then we'll bring you back to talk about tap dance and the game of chess. So these are other dorkdoms of Virginia Jones, you guys. And get out there if you have questions about tap dance and chess, the game.
And if you have any information about Labyrinth that I don't know,
go to @Badinia Donuts.
Write me. Look, Virginia Jones is
Virginia
Jones is a realtor in Berkeley who is never going to die. And this was before all the edu.
Right, you
couldn't. It was only there was
TV.
I've written her, and I'm like, "Are you ever going to die?" No. Okay. All right.
She's immortal, and what's happened is
because all the money she's making in fucking Berkeley real estate.
Right.
She's changing her blood every year.
Exactly. She's having new teeth installed. She had her lungs replaced. Anyway, so Harold Ramis said that he thought it was 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And I thought of that and I was like, that's too long.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, how long, to learn how to ice sculpt?
Right. And play piano.
And play the piano like that.
And achieve enlightenment, which is truly what he does.
Well, that's what the true thing is. Yeah.
That's what the true thing is. How long does that take? Does it take?
He had to learn French so he could read the French literature. And,
yeah.
And it turns out
that takes a couple
Andy
years.
McDowell came into that movie enlightened. A decent human being.
Right.
Poor her. Where does she go from there? How do you become a better person? And it's Bill Murray. He's got to spend 1,000 years shoveling sand and essentially sleeping with everyone he's ever wanted to sleep with and hitting everyone he's ever wanted to hit. And I mean, they touch on the horrible things that a god would do if you were immortal. I've read, I usually don't like science fiction about immortality, but there's an amazing series by Cage Baker that speaks of immortality and how you have to give people a task if they're immortal. They have to have a job.
Like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, Ego?
Yeah. He made himself up a task because he was going to go crazy.
Right. And he did. Because Ego, the living planet, is crazy. Much like the Collector is crazy.
Right.
And much like, I forget the name of the guy and what his task was, because they're all siblings, right? The Collector, Ego, and the guy who had the planet on Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok. They're all siblings.
Oh, right.
In the comic books.
Okay. Cool.
And, but he has a name and I forgot what it is.
Well, everybody has a name.
And if you don't, make one up for yourself. Anyway.
In Douglas Adams, there's the guy who's immortal who's decided to insult every creature in the
that's
universe.
Right. That's his task.
In alphabetical order. Because
interesting.
anyone could do it, any immortal could do it the regular way. So he's time travel, like space, doing all these huge
space
trips,
and time travel.
Space and time travel to get at everybody. And he has a plan, and he has to get them in their lifespan, which is tricky for him.
The Cage Baker books, there's people who have tasks, and there's people who have tasks but have time also to go mad. And the people who have time to go mad are some of the most evil fucks in the book. But they're evil, charming. I mean, the evil that happens is so casual.
Yeah.
In the Cage Baker series, the company series, where you're like, oh, that's real evil. That's not like evil like Trump is just sort of petty and horrible.
Right. Short-sighted.
Right. But like the real evil is happening by guys like that who are they're just sitting alone or with their three other, on a throne of boys. That's a Matt Weinhold joke. But get Matt Weinhold's album. And so just making decisions about millions of people. Like Trump actually wants to stick his fingers into a baby. So you're like, you're foul, but and you're gross, but I think you could be stopped.
Right. Because that's a good question. How crazy, how evil can you get in a human lifetime?
Versus an immortality lifetime?
I mean, and I've read a lot of vampire books, so we're on a different page as far as immortality, but that's something that comes up a lot. Like when I was a young goth, I'm like, definitely fucking vampire, fucking forever, just fucking fuck. And then as dealt with in the Jim Jarmusch film, Only Lovers Left Alive, like, what's interesting about being a vampire?
Only Lovers?
Oh, it's so good.
What's it called?
Only Lovers Left Alive.
Left Alive.
Tilda Swinton.
Oh, it's a new one.
And Loki.
I remember. The guy who played Loki.
Yes.
Huddleston? That's
Tim Hiddleston. Very, they both make real good looking vampires. But yeah, they're in love, but his thing is music and her thing is reading, and they move off and do their things. And then they come back together, because if you were just together all the time, you'd go crazy.
And they're immortal.
And they're just
so they can spend 3 or 4 years, like I spend 3 or 4 days on the road.
Right. But yeah, no, the interesting, that is an interesting question about immortality. Like, what is the point? What is the point? Once you've seen every movie, like, because you want it for things like you want to have all the time. I want to read all the books. I want to see all the movies. I want to be an expert in everything I've ever wanted to be. I want to Groundhog's Day it.
Yeah.
But what is that for? It's a good question about what is life for. It's getting deep.
It's getting real deep here in our final moments.
Deep and dark in the forest as we wind up to an end.
What's your favorite, you got a favorite vampire series that people might want to read?
Man, oh man. I mean, it's old school. I love that Anne Rice.
Oh, that Anne Rice.
I love that Anne Rice.
She's one of the ones.
Yeah,
she's one of the ones.
And
I think she might have been the one.
Yeah, and I don't think that, the Twilight vampires are as sexy. Like, it's like, Edward's like 300 years old and he goes to high school. Like, that's what he wants to do.
Right.
Why? Being a Los Angeles rock star in leather pants. That's what a vampire wants to do.
Have you ever read a book called Sharp Teeth?
Oh.
It's about werewolves and dogs and in Los Angeles, and they want to play pinochle.
And then who wrote that one?
Can't remember. It's sitting on that shelf.
I've definitely heard of it, but I haven't read it.
Sharp Teeth, and it's written in not iambic pentameter, but like some sort of like a staccato kind of prose. So it's more written in poetry.
If we're talking sexy vampire books,
yeah,
my friend Jamia Jefferson writes some good ones.
Jamia Jefferson.
Yeah, check her out.
Check her out.
She works for Dark Horse, but on her own, she makes weird
self-publishes sexy vampire stories.
Other people publish it.
Oh, they're regular publishers.
Yeah, regular books. She's good.
Excellent.
And I know we're going to talk about what I'm reading lately. I'm just going to plow through it.
Yeah.
I just finished Lindy West's Shrill.
Yeah, I got that. That was hilarious.
It's a real good one.
Dark and funny
and kind of over the time. And I'm rereading American Gods to kind of commemorate and accept,
the TV show,
and accept that the TV show is probably not coming back. Probably not.
Well, I read the book. Yeah, because it's set in Wisconsin.
Oh, sure.
And now I'm reading the comic books. They've got a comic book series out, and it's actually fascinating. I'm actually understanding it more as a comic book. Yep. Simple woman of the people, you guys, Jackie Cation.
Well, it's interesting going back and reading it after it's been a show, because now it's much more, instead of like just the movie that I made, it's the movie, like I'm just continuing. I'm like, well, just put that guy there.
Oh, that's neat.
But yeah, the main actors have left and the showrunner has left, so the odds that it will continue are low, which is too bad because I thought it was really good.
That is too bad.
Yeah.
I am watching the new Star Trek Discovery. I have had to purchase an online subscription to CBS. Wow. So we're going to try to watch them all.
Strange New World.
Only because I have $6 a month, but it's the only thing I want to watch on CBS. So how about we do it all now, and then we end it. Anyway, you've done vital work, Virginia Jones, being on this television show. You, on March 26th, are doing Hot Tub right here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You can follow you on Twitter or just go to bodinia.com to find out any other sets you're doing and stuff like that. It has been fascinating. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?